Is our border secure?
Our border is secure. Border is secure because we are maximizing our resources to deliver the most effective results to our border with the most extraordinary workforce in the world.
I mean, I thought that there was a big crisis there, but apparently it's all taken care of. If you listen to Karine Jean-Pierre, if you listen to Alejandro Mayorkas, as you just heard there, even the President of the United States joining us right now. And by the way, welcome back to the program. You can listen coast to coast, watch the simulcast. Texas Governor Greg Abbott joins us via Skype. Governor, a pleasure to have you. I guess it's good news to hear that everything at the border is fine, all secure. That's what the Biden administration says. You just watched that video from Alejandro Mayorkas. Your response?
If only. You know, they've been saying the same thing ever since Biden has been in office. I've never seen any office holders be so dishonest as Joe Biden and Mayorkas. No one believes Mayorkas. The spokesperson in the White House for Joe Biden has been just as dishonest. Remember when she said, oh, migrants don't just walk across the border. Mm-hmm. Of course, they walk across the border every single day. They don't have a clue what's going on. You know what? I take that back. They may know exactly what's going on. I candidly think that the chaos that they have created in this country is exactly what the Biden administration has wanted to achieve. And it is disgusting. There's one reason why we must eliminate Joe Biden as president of the United States.
Yeah, and and of course, this southern border issue, we've seen the number of gotaways that we've been going over the numbers regularly throughout the week of all these different sectors. I think it's up to like 7,500 crossings per day in some of the most populous sectors here that we've been seeing. A lot. I know you've sent a lot of National Guard down. I know there are 24 other states that have also, which I thought was very kind of them to help Texas with the burden that the federal government has imposed on us, Governor. And I know you appreciate the help. You've tweeted as such. Tell us a little bit about what that looks like, because I know from just, history with the DOJ under Barack Obama and Jan Brewer that you can't, they can't be used to, they can't arrest people and deport them, but you can try to repel. Tell people what that looks like, because there is a limitation on what actually can be done, as insane as that is.
Well, so first I'll tell you about the limitation, then I'll tell you what we're doing. We've explored different ways to respond to this, and we now have an effective tool in place. But first, the prohibition is found in Title 18, Section 242, and it says basically if you kidnap an alien and hold them against their will, which would be including taking them to wherever, you could be put in jail for life. And that's what Merrick Garland would love to do. So we have to operate within the confines of federal law to make sure that we don't have our law enforcement officers or our National Guard arrested. That said, what we've found that we are capable of doing legally, but also physically, and achieve great results, is repelling them, not allowing them across the border into Texas. You've seen this prolifically ever since Title 42 was lifted, where we have these razor wire barricades. And what you cannot tell from what you see on TV is the number of miles that we have of this. Mile after mile after mile is what National Guard engineering teams have put up. And those very same miles, we have National Guard soldiers as well as Texas Department of Public Safety officers on the Texas side of that wire, making sure nobody gets through it. So we have it down in the Brownsville area. We have it in the McAllen area. We have it in the Del Rio and Eagle Pass areas, and in the El Paso area. We began this project last year and found it to be successful. We trained highly skilled elite National Guard forces to go down there and be involved in the process of repelling. That said, to tie back into your question, Dana, the National Guard, as well as law enforcement officers in other states, have seen with pride what Texas is doing, blocking and preventing people from crossing our border illegally. They want to be a part of that. And so we're getting requests by those other states, Idaho and Florida already. Others will be coming on board also to lend their National Guard or their law enforcement officers who are patriots of America, who believe that our border should be secured, our sovereignty should be protected. They want to be a part of that process by being part of repelling and turning back people who are trying to cross the border illegally.
And that really, and I'm glad that they're doing it. You said that, really this southern border is everybody's border as well. And Texas has spent a lot of dollars that, we shouldn't have to because of this administration's policies. How many tax dollars have we spent dealing with Joe Biden's policies, Governor?
Last session, Texas taxpayers came out of our own money $4.5 billion. I'm about to sign another budget for another $4.5 billion, more than $9 billion altogether. Part of that is to deploy the National Guard and DPS officers to the border. Part of it is that Texas is the only state ever to build our own border wall. That border wall is the exact same wall that President Trump was putting up. And we had gone through the process of acquiring the land rights so that we're going to put mile after mile after mile up of the border wall, which does serve as a protector of our border. So we're putting up the border wall, deploying National Guard, deploying Department of Public Safety officers. And Dana, I'm about to sign some other laws. One of the most disgusting things I have observed throughout this episode, our fellow Texans, including a woman who works in a district attorney's office, have been a part of aiding the cartels by smuggling people illegally in our state. And so I'm working on passing a law that will make it a mandatory minimum sentence of 10 years behind bars for anybody caught smuggling illegal immigrants in the state of Texas. Also, we're working on a law that will make it a felony state crime for someone to enter the state of Texas from Mexico or from some other foreign country, that we will put them behind bars for a very long time for entering Texas illegally.
And that's, I mean, these are all smart workarounds to get around this. I mean, I'd say it's his policy. He doesn't have a policy. Talking with Texas Governor Greg Abbott. You also, Governor, were sending some people who entered the country illegally, entered Texas, to the vice president's neighborhood in Washington, D.C., in addition to sending some to New York and sending some elsewhere. They are sanctuary cities. It is only logical that they pay their fair share. Eric Adams and Lori Lightfoot, they've all said that, outgoing Mayor Lori Lightfoot have all said that they don't have the resources to deal with this. Governor, it seems like they have way more resources than, a town like McAllen, Texas, or any of these other border towns.
To be clear, they were sanctuary cities before they had to actually live up to what they said they wanted to do. And remember, Mayor Adams is trying to disband the providing homes and things like that for people who are going to New York. But when he does so, he's forcing veterans of the United States military out of their hotel rooms and filling those rooms instead with people who have entered this country illegally. But Dana, it's important that you and your audience know this. What we are really doing, we are aiding our small local communities, Del Rio, Eagle Pass, communities like that they don't have the ability to have these people in their communities, and we have to relieve the congestion in these small Texas border towns. And so we provide the buses and bus them to New York, to Chicago, to other locations across the entire country, most of which are these large cities that have the capability of accommodating these large number of illegal immigrants. And now it's time for these other states, these other communities, to shoulder part of the burden that's caused by Joe Biden. If these cities have a complaint, they need to call the person who created the problem, and that is Joe Biden, and get Joe Biden to fix it. Remember this, it was just last week that the United States Congress, Republicans in the House, they passed an immigration reform, really a border security plan. All Joe Biden has to do is get the Senate to agree with it and sign it, and we could overnight have a more secure border. But Joe Biden could care less about delivering results. He just wants to deliver illegal immigrants into the United States of America.
And they can't track them either, Governor. I know you were aware that New York Times expose where a number of children brought in by drug cartels dropped off. Alejandro Mayorkas is on a Zoom call where he's encouraging people to go through and get this stuff going faster. Other Biden officials doing the same thing. A lot of these government contractors that had partnered with the Biden administration didn't want to work with them anymore because they said, as the New York Times reported, you lost contact of 100,000 kids, like kids under the age of 18. I mean, that's all of the compassion that Democrats talk about, Governor, I never see directed to that problem that they have created regarding the border.
Think how outrageous. Think what the media would be saying. That had been Donald Trump, who had lost 100,000 kids who were in the country illegally. There would be outrage. But with Biden, it's total silence. But it is outrageous what Biden has done. And you've seen the polling numbers for Biden because of the way he's handled immigration and the border. That alone may be enough for the people of the United States to unelect Joe Biden this next election cycle.
There you go. Texas Governor Greg Abbott, always appreciate it. Appreciate you signing. I saw the energy bill that you just signed a little earlier. Wanted to thank you for that as well. Thank you, Governor. Good to see you. Thanks for your fight on this.
Thank you, Dana.
Of course.